What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D, and we got to talk about Dame Dash. He was on the Breakfast Club recently, and this next go-around, it did not disappoint. He was on there before. His last visit a few years back had a lot of viral clippable moments, and he definitely brought the smoke for this newest visit as well. A lot of discussion being had about it. A lot of opinions. I've boiled it down to two groups: people who like Dame and people who don't. That basically seems to fuel what people think of how the interview went. You got a lot of people that say Dame got embarrassed, Dame looked like a clown. I disagree with that. I'm not a fan of the Breakfast Club. I think that the show just got a bit too messy, too gossipy, which that's one of the things that Dame brought up. But that was one of the things that turned me off about it. It just got too far left. They had Angela Yee on there. She was, as years go by, becoming more and more of a feminist. I'll never forget that she tried to put Snoop in the hot seat, asking him, with the current climate of things, does he regret some of the things he said? And he gave the most Snoop answer ever, saying, nope, that was him, fuck them hoes. I mean, that was just a great answer. He backpedaled a little bit after that, but still, that was a great answer for that particular question. Anyway, I'm indifferent to Dame. I don't care for the Breakfast Club, but I'm not a super Dame fan. I'm indifferent to him. I've never liked or disliked him. He just was kind of there. He was a part of Rockefeller. He had a huge impact on hip-hop culture, music industry. So I give him his flowers. So even though I may not be a fan of his, I don't dislike him. So it's very easy for me to give him credit for what he's done. I don't think he got embarrassed. I don't think he looked like a clown. I thought a lot of the stuff that he was saying needed to be said because nobody else would come on there and say it to them. No one else would come on there and not be afraid to bring up some of the things he brought up. He confronted Envy about the whole real estate scam thing with his buddy. No one else, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, no one else that I've seen anyway has come on there and clap at Envy about that. Because Envy will say some little under the table, sideways stuff at a lot of the different guests, but they'll never go there. They'll just kind of let it go. And I'm just like, listen, this is a dude that's under investigation on some RICO stuff. How can y'all sit there and not bring that up? How can y'all sit there and just let him say whatever he want to say and not bring that up? Now, you could be like, I'm not going to intentionally go there, but if he make me go there saying some dumb shit, I will. But they never would. So he was claiming, he's not under investigation. He has some paper that he wanted to show or whatever. I don't know how true that is. He could just be cleared for now and they find some stuff later. Just because the investigation has shifted to maybe another party doesn't mean you're clear. So, you know what I mean? Like, he was never charged with anything or whatever. So they can still, in the future, if they come up with something, that they believe will stick, still go after Envy. But according to him, he good. They're not after him, whatever. He also brought up, just some of Charlamagne's ways. He said that, he's got a lot of feminine ways, and that he's homo acting. And he made sure to mention how Charlamagne ran. And Charlamagne was like, it was multiple people or something like that. For those of you that don't know, Charlamagne some years ago, because he runs his mouth so much on the radio, this is a guy who's not a tough guy, but he gets on the radio and feels so emboldened. He thinks he can say whatever it is that he won't, fire whatever shots, and people not going to come see him. And somebody came to see him with a few other people and confronted he took off running. And Dame was like, I would rather get my ass beat than run. He's like, I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to be, basically, I wouldn't want to be with somebody like you that would take off and run, because now I'm gonna have to run, because you left me. And he was also saying how he liked women around him to feel safe. He tried to include just hilarious, which I thought was amusing, because you could tell she was feeling what he was saying, but she ain't want to say nothing. She ain't want to affirm it, because she's kind of already in a unstable, rocky situation with the Breakfast Club, and she don't really want to say anything to rock the boat anymore. But you could tell she didn't disagree with what he was saying about the whole running thing and wanting women to feel safe around him. Charlamagne also was talking about money or whatever. He claimed that he claimed that Dame was broke. And Dame was like, he's not broke, he was pretending to be broke. Now, I don't know if that's really true or not. Dame is a really good shit talker, and just for saving face, he could just be like, I'm not broke, I was just pretending. So whatever. I'm not the man's accountant. I don't know what he's working with. If he say he not broke, I'm just gonna take his word for it, because I have no proof otherwise. But he was claiming he wasn't broke, and Charlamagne brought up filing bankruptcy, and he's like, well, how many times has Donald Trump filed a bankruptcy? And he was like 6 times, but we all know that he's a terrible businessman. And he was like, you sound really, basically stupid, because he's president of the United States. He was like, here's a man that filed for bankruptcy 8 times. Yeah, he went from 6 to 8. He's like, here's a man that filed for bankruptcy like 8 times. He's still a billionaire, and he's president of the United States. And you're talking about he's a terrible businessman. Look, man, I couldn't disagree with that at all. Like, really, I couldn't disagree with that. And he was saying how he's so confident in being wrong, basically. I couldn't disagree with that either, man. Charlamagne has a bias against Trump, and he's never really hitting it. So in that moment, that bias really shined through. He was saying something utterly ridiculous, and Dame checked him on it. He also took a shot at him, saying that his OG was Wendy Williams. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Wendy Williams gave him his start. Since saying that, there's been a lot of photographs of a very young-looking Charlamagne hanging out with Wendy Williams, and I don't know what was going on here. I'm not insinuating anything, but he looked miserable in every picture I've seen of him from back in the day hanging out with her. She's smiling and having a good time. He looks absolutely miserable. And one photograph I saw, and I was trying to gauge whether this was an AI edit or not, he was sitting on her lap. Now, I don't know. It could be AI. I wasn't able to confirm whether that was a real photo or not. But he had the same miserable look, on his face. Do with that what you will. I'm trying to kind of dance around this a bit here. I'm not confirming or denying what was going on with that photograph. But the internet is good for providing receipts when something becomes a hot button topic. But you got to be careful, because AI has gotten so good nowadays that people can, kind of make up receipts. So if you guys are interested in the picture, a quick Google search, you'll find it. You guys can let me know if the picture was real or not. It doesn't change anything for me overall about the interview, whether it was real or not. Just throwing it out there. I'm gonna leave it there though, you guys. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. And hit me in them comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.